Baelor was a Targaryen who was extremely pious, refusing to consummate his traditionally incestuous marriage to his sister for that reason, and not for the more apparent reason that Targaryen traditions are gross. After his brother died in a war against Dorne, he became King Baelor the First and immediately began his reign in an objectively heroic way. First off, he publicly forgave Dorne for killing his brother, walked barefoot all the way to Dorne without any weapons or army, returned Dornish hostages unharmed, and single-handedly saved the life of Aemon Targaryen of the Kingsguard by pulling him out of a viper pit. But you know, it was a pit of vipers, so he came out having quite a few venomous bite marks, which took him out of commission for over half a year. After he recovered, he returned to King's Landing, but this would prove to be the highest point of his reign. Some in Westeros argue that the run-in with the Vipers is what caused him to go mad, though there's plenty of reason to believe that he was already kind of overly devout before this point. Either way, Baelor would go down in history as quite the disaster. His reign started off well enough. He made peace with Dorne, saved a member of his family in a very heroic and non-violent fashion, which is a rare method of conflict resolution in Westeros, and built a giant temple for the Seven. But then things began to get out of hand. For one thing, he locked up his sisters in what he called the Maiden Vault to keep them quote-unquote innocent. Some think he was just tempted by them and he wanted to remove that temptation, but either way, forcing his own piousness onto his sisters against their will was not cool. Then he got even more crazy, believe it or not, when he decided to donate a loaf of bread to every man and woman in King's Landing for an entire year, which is of course a nice thing to do, but he couldn't do much for the poor if he ended up bankrupting the entire capital, so it was an extremely short-sighted plan. There were many other weird decisions. He attempted to replace all the messenger ravens in the city with doves. He offered tax incentives to lords who never allowed their daughters to lose their virtue, which was a dreadful decision for the realm as a whole because marriage was the most effective way to secure alliances between families, and it still is in the Game of Thrones universe. And he also had many books written by a man called Septon Barth burned, considering him more of a sorcerer than a septon. This was also negative, as Septon Barth's books provided quite a bit of information that was useful to the realm as a whole. Then he decided a child should be the High Septon, claiming he worked miracles. All this culminated with him starving himself to death during a bout of prolonged fasting. Some claim his hand poisoned him in order to become king, but it's not clear how likely that really is, as Viserys II was seen by most to have been one of, if not the greatest Hand of the King Westeros has ever seen. By all accounts, however, while Baelor might have been kind of a nice guy, maybe he was not a very good king.